I don't think playing with dolls is making them sissies because at one point in time, there were dolls and then there were action figures. But apparently, the action figures do not create any type of nurturing and caring. So there's this insane desire to say, oh, well, we need to put dolls in little boys' hands because the action figures aren't doing it. Giving dolls, giving him an opportunity to explore his nurturing, caring side at 15 months. At 15 months, he barely recognized himself in the mirror. Parenting. Just listen to this.
So this is another comment that I had to respond to. So this lady said they want traditional women, but not giving traditional men. And this comment reminded me of a conversation that my friend and I was having. She said that she took a communication class and her instructor had her walk down the toy aisle for boys and then walk down the toy aisle for girls. And she said that what she noticed is that all of the toys for the little girls were geared toward nurturing. You know, little girls play with kitchens. They want to be brides for Halloween. They have makeup. They have baby dolls. So everything, they have doctor kits for little girls.
So what it takes to be a wife doesn't necessarily come from observations. It comes from toys, the toy aisle, as if the toy aisle has existed since the beginning of time, as if the toy aisle exists everywhere. Any history book would tell you that that is not, has never been a constant throughout history. American, European, Asian, none of them have cited that the toys that little kids played with was the building block for what it took to be a mother or a father.
So everything that revolves around being a little girl and girl toys is all about being raised to be a wife and a mother. Everything in the boy aisle for the boy toys is all about having fun and make believe shit.
Make believe as if flight wasn't a byproduct of an imagination, as if indoor plumbing wasn't a product of imagination, as if skyscrapers wasn't a product of imagination. The dismissiveness of imagination for boys or girls is really weird. And I'm not speaking to her directly because I've heard this before about the games and toys that boys play with is a waste of time.
So it's absolutely laughable to me how they swear up and down that Western women were not raised to be wives when our childhoods, our toys, and little girls in general would say the exact opposite. Now, meanwhile, on the other hand, they are the ones who were not raised to be husbands.
This is the counter to what could be easily solved with men not going outside of the quote unquote race, which is created for division more than anything, but going out of the country. This is the counter to it. I find it odd that the resistance to something that is not relatively new, but it has gotten a lot of traction, a lot of eyeballs, a lot of chatter. This is how they respond to it. Oh, they want X, but we can look at the toy aisle and say, well, they can't even provide what it takes to be a husband because what's in the toy aisle?
Because none of their toys revolve around fatherhood or being anybody's spouse. And then once they get done playing with toys, they go right into the video games where the primary focus is scantily dressed women and the men running around either stealing cars or unaliving people. That is their childhood.
And mind you, getting back to imagination, she's sitting in a car, which is the product of imagination. She's holding a phone, which is a product of imagination. She is speaking into a recording system, camera system, which is the product of imagination.
Nutshell. So, excellent point and excellent observation. In fact, if you guys want to stitch this video and talk about, like, if you just happen to be in a store with toys, walk down that aisle and observe what you see that boys are playing with and what little girls are playing with. And are little girls being groomed to want marriage and families versus the little boys? Let me know what you see. If you have a son and daughter, let me know the differences.
So after I heard that, I said, well, let me just go to your neighborhood Walmart and just take a gander at what she is citing as the means to determine whether somebody is a wife or a husband who is cultivated to be either a husband or a wife and thus parents to children. Okay, so this is the typical toy projectile weaponry in this aisle. On this end of the aisle, we have weapons of mass destruction on a small scale per se. It's not the handling of these, which can go one or two ways. One truly horrible, but one truly beneficial. One is criminality, yes. But the other is what? Protection, pretending to, I don't know, wage war against an adversary that might, I don't know, cause great harm to women and children. Not saying that this prepares boys for being able to protect anyone, including themselves, but isn't that a part of being a husband? Protecting his wife, protecting his children? More toys, more, more imagination, Star Wars, before they completely screwed it up, pushing, oh, well, females can be the lead. We're going to just take over stories and womanize it for no reason other than to say women can do it too. And it has crashed and burned. The thing is, it's not that it's a hate for women. There's no newness to it. It's just, well, we're going to take out Luke Skywalker and we're going to put in Rey. There's nothing new. There's no new characters. There is no, oh, well, we're going to tell it from a female perspective and this is going to be interesting. No. Ocean's 11s, Ocean 12s, new and unique. Ocean's 8, straight rip off of the Ocean 11s and Ocean 12. You piggybacking on something that already exists that was actually interesting and new in some form or fashion. But saying, well, we're going to womanize it and think that people are going to be excited about it, that's not how it works. It does not work. Except for Bridesmaids. Rip off of Hangover, best female adaptation. Other than that, everything else has been straight trash. More imagination, playing with cards, playing with tracks. I don't know, maybe, possibly playing with cars, get them interested in cars. Mechanics, don't you need somebody to fix your car? Wouldn't you like them to be accustomed to playing with cars and possibly getting interested in single stroke engines and then going to 2 strokes and then 4, 6, 8, 10, 12? I don't know. Seems like that is preparing to have somebody to fix mechanical things in the house. Legos, building, construction. And again, I'm not saying that this makes them fathers. This is the prerequisite for being a father or a husband. I'm saying acting like the toys are useless and a waste of time seems like just dumping on boys just for the sake of dumping on boys. And I'm not speaking about her directly because she is just another symptom of the problem of trying to tear down boys for the sake of saying, oh, we need to fight the patriarchy. But again, putting together that's hand-eye coordination along with sports, but talking about the toy aisle, hand-eye coordination, ability to look at things and put things together in 3D and in space. I rarely ever put together anything using the full instructions. That's always been my thing, and I think there's a vast majority of men who have been raised with a father or an older brother or other mechanically inclined men in their life are less inclined to use directions. They kind of seen it a gajillion times and start putting stuff together. But again, this is not a waste. Now, she spoke of the toys in the girls' aisles make them appropriate wives, mothers. Here's the girls' aisle. Okay, so we've got on the top, what is that? Is that a effect? No, it's a bathroom. Okay, they got a bathroom kit. Then you have below that I want to say kitchen set. Then below that, that's a dining room set. I guess my biggest confusion is if little girls start out playing with toys like this, then how do you end up with houses like this? Now, this is an eviction. Now, there was a mother in this house because there were kids, toys all over the place. This is an eviction. I'm going to shout out the creator of this YouTube channel. He does evictions and he sees a lot of this. These are the houses of individuals who were raised to be wives. They started out playing with toys to keep the house, that mimic the house. You got the living room set, the bathroom set, the dining room set. And what happened? That's the bathroom. That doesn't look very tidy. Doesn't look very tidy at all. So what happened? It was a female who was raised to be a wife, and that's how she kept her house. Going by what the lady said, females are groomed, little girls are groomed to be wives. Now we have looks like Barbie and such. Not much to see here, but I guess because at the top is at a park or a beach, and below that is in a camper vacation. And below that's that 3 foot tall beach house with a pool at the bottom. That's what she's citing that teaches little girls how to be wise. Because it seems like a lot of vacation stuff. I didn't go all the way down, but yeah. And then we have the dolls. A lot of bright colors. A lot of bright, much like in the jungles of the Amazon, bright colors generally means poisonous. But again, this is teaching little girls how to be wives with bright colors, short skirts. I'm sure there's tattoos, overdone makeup. Yeah. This is definitely wife stuff. But again, she is by no means the main contributor to this incessant need to destroy little boys at all costs, every which way, shape, and form possible. It's all over the place. Watching her say what she said, I decided to go online and just see what else was out there that kind of had this same, well, if boys play with toys, there'd be X, Y, and Z, and girls are taught to be wise through toys. And this is what I came across. I just typed in, how do toys help boys become fathers? Uses AI. Toys encourage nurturing and caregiving behaviors, like dolls, can help boys develop their empathy and caregiving skills. Giving a boy a doll gives him the opportunity to explore his nurturing and caring side, can teach a boy as much about being a father just as dolls teaches girls about motherhood. And I was kind of confused because this emphasis on nurturing and caring, as if boys aren't nurturing and caring for things that they care about and want. I mean, this whole idea that toys are going to help boys to be nurturing and caring, as if they're not in any way, shape, or form without dolls. If you have ever seen a boy in movies, they put it in movies where the boy lost his father and he has his father's favorite baseball glove or his father's necklace or his father's ring. And you're going to say, well, those are inanimate objects. But the ability to care about something that's precious to him, doesn't that translate into his wife? Father's interaction when it comes to intellectual development are more unpredictable and more spur of the moment. Toys that allow shared play between father and son, like sports equipment and building toys, can help strengthen the father-son bond and model positive masculine behavior. Again, what's negative masculine behavior? Doesn't it seem that they're tying a lot of it to the interactions with the father? Buddy. Exposure to a variety of toys beyond stereotypical boy toys can help them develop a more rounded understanding of gender and avoid limiting their interests and behaviors. I'm trying to understand this overcompensation of trying to get boys to understand about, well, kids in general, understand about gender and sex. They're little kids. Why is this the focus now? I don't get, oh, we need to make sure that they feel comfortable in expressing themselves and finding themselves in any way, shape, or form. There are laws being passed to say that the parents have no right to know what the kids are checking out in public libraries, school libraries, because they say, well, the child will be more likely to look up topics that they're interested in without having to fear that their parents will find out. But if the child does wrong, just like them parents who just got put away for 10 to 15 years because the child red rummed a school. So why is it important when it comes to the children's actuality to say, hey, don't let your parents know what's going on? But if the same kid were to not let their parents know what's going on, this does not apply to this case, but if they were to not let their parents know that they were dealing with troubles at school or what have you, and they decide to red rum a school, wouldn't they hold the parents liable? So when it comes to their actuality, they don't need to know anything. But when it comes to acts of violence, oh, well, you should have known. Let's see. Father's self-described beliefs. Okay. Boys have a more stereotype definition of girl toys than boys do. Fathers' self-described beliefs reported on the same-sex role attitude scale reflected behaviors common during interviews with their son. I'm just having a hard time understanding why they think that the doll play would create nurturing and caring, but with the interaction with their father is not enough. And I'm talking about the fathers who are husbands, the husbands who want children, the husbands who want to raise children, the husbands that want to be able to say, I did that. I created something better than me. I'm talking about those fathers. I mean, there are forums and groups strictly focused on trying to get, not trying, but forcing doll play on boys because they're hoping to build a better male, a beta male. And I'm not saying playing with dolls will create beta males. I'm saying trying to force this on them as if they don't do it, the child is going to be a monster. Doll play to foster nurturing and caring. Did dolls always exist? No. Did dolls in toy aisles always exist? No. So what happened before then? If this is the cure-all for whatever they think ails society from males, what happened before? Because if the lack of doll play meant that there was no nurturing or caring from little boys who grew up to be grown men, wouldn't it be a great deletion of a vast majority of the female population? And wouldn't that negatively impact society? Because if there are less females to marry and have children with, doesn't that mean the destruction of the species? Okay, so we have a parent who's concerned about her 15-month-old little boy. She wants information on the benefits of boys playing with dolls. Disapproving comments, concern the son has too much female influence in his life because what? My son has no father, and we live with my parents. So you're going to solve a problem that was created, and the child is 15 months and you got married and divorced by this early. I'm thinking it was a problem. And I'm going to lean towards, yes, it takes two, but it's probably on her. No father. He wants a substitute. You know, the only time a substitute is good for a child, and more specifically a son, is if the father has perished. I mean, it used to be a thing when boys didn't grow up with their fathers because their fathers perished in wars. But now this great substitution or fill-in is because of you got to live your life, because I don't need a man, I don't want a man, because I'm just trying to have fun, I need to get this out my system. Oops. All at the detriment of the children. And she writes to Sarah, fear young men playing with dolls make the boys less masculine. Some women share the belief. Okay, so we've been conditioned for so many decades think that boys playing with trucks and cars and girls play with dolls. And too many boys have been told that playing with dolls is for sissies. I don't think playing with dolls is making them sissies, because at one point in time, there were dolls and then there were action figures. But apparently the action figures do not create any type of nurturing and caring. So there's this insane desire to say, oh, well, we need to put dolls in little boys' hands because the action figures aren't doing it. Giving dolls, giving him the opportunity to explore his nurturing, caring side at 15 months. At 15 months, he barely recognized himself in the mirror. And can teach a boy as much about being a father just as dolls teach girls about motherhood. Again, what happened to motherhood and fatherhood before toys? Isn't it through imitation? Isn't it through imitation? Little girls imitate their mother, little boys imitate their father. And there's going to be crossover in certain things. Little boys will, I don't know, well, the mother doesn't like green beans. Son will say, see, mom don't like it, so I'll eat them. Or little girls see the father using a tool, and little girl starts using it incorrectly or correct. It doesn't matter. There's going to be crossover, but it takes both of the parents to instill all of these qualities. It's not toys. This is insane to think that toys is the tip of the spear on the ability to care, the ability to nurture. We need toys. Children imitate adults around them in their play. When mothers and fathers model nurturing, caring behavior, boys and girls will imitate them with doll play in a healthy, and this is healthy. It teaches children about relationships and empathy. So, mothers and fathers model nurturing and caring behavior. Boys and girls will imitate this in their doll play. You do not need dolls to imitate the nurturing and caring of the parents. You can just as easily imitate it with pets. And I'm not saying, oh, well, the dolls is the problem. My issue is saying that, oh, it's the toys that bring about nurturing and caring. No, it's the parents. If the mother and father are nurturing and caring to each other and to the children, and maybe just slightly outside of the circle, the kids are going to mimic that. You don't need to force a doll into a little boy's hands for the express purpose of teaching them compassion and caring and nurturing. That's ridiculous. They need their parents. But Miss 15-month-old mother wants to put dolls in the boy's hand in order to teach him what is found between a mother and father, husband and wife. This is natural, this is good, he's practicing parenting. He needs both and the mother and the father in the house in order to mimic, in order to practice parenting. Times have changed. No, times have not changed. Nothing has changed. Just because there's different behaviors doesn't mean times have changed. Today's fathers tend to be more involved in child rearing than they were decades ago. See dads in the paper scene pushing a stroller. Children can't imitate nature, carrying adults thing, blah, blah, blah. Yes, they need to see in order to mimic. They do not need the doll as a means to bring about compassion and nurturing and caring. Want to sidestep it and substitute what cannot be substituted. I'm curious how culturally it seems more acceptable to allow a girl to play with traditional boy toys, blah blah blah, Legos. But you see what they do with the most people don't think twice about a girl playing with building sets, Legos, or toy cars, but they're still making them play with dolls. They throw all these colors on it in order to make them want to play with it more, which is a lie. If they're interested in Legos, they will play with Legos. They do not have to be pink and fuchsia and turquoise and all these colors in order to get girls to play with Legos. I see these toys and I'm like, why? Why can't it just be Star Wars? And if these other Legos that there is no need to colorize these toys to entice little girls to play with them. Legos and toy cars, building sets, but they're all these colors that really don't mean anything. If they want to play with them, they'll play with them. There is no, oh, well, I don't want to play with that because it's not pink and there's no ponies and no giraffes or horses. They'll play with them. See Milan, see little boys playing with dolls and house, pretending to cook in the kitchen. That's going to be mimicry. I believe parents should give boys and sons a doll to love. I recommend giving a boy his first doll between 18 months and 3 years old before he's gotten the memo that boys don't play with dolls. It's the focus on the dolls. It can be a toy, a stuffed animal, action figures, but this need to say, oh, well, it has to be a doll. That's the irk for me. It's like, well, if they play with the specifically girl toy, this is going to bring about something in them that would not exist outside of a teddy bear or G.I. Joe action figure or Star Wars action figure or ugly dolls or anything else. Is just this push. It has to be a doll. It has to be a doll. It has to be a baby. That's the problem. They keep focusing important things to give your son a doll will give him opportunity to develop his nurturing and caring through play. Again, how do you teach not to be selfish to a child? How do you teach a child not to be selfish? Is it by playing with the doll, or is it by having the conversation with them? Come on, you need to share. Okay, let them play with that for a little while, and then you can play with it later. Oh, we went over to your aunt's house, and your cousin wants to play with your toy. Let them play with it, But when we leave, you have it. You teach them the little lessons that teach them about sharing and caring. It's not, oh well, they need to have a doll. That's insanity, because they do not do that with girls. So then I had to look at, how do toys teach girls to be mothers? I know you can say wives, but wives, mothers, they're supposed to be synonymous with each other. Based on research, 1950 toys for girls were centered around feminine hobbies and training them to be housewives and mothers. Dolls designed to be very realistic, cry, sleep, wet their diapers, prepare the young girls for caring for babies and children when they grow up, toy strollers, bottles, childcare accessories marketed towards girls to simulate the experience of motherhood. But isn't that also so that the little girl can copy off of her mother? If the sibling has a younger sibling, if the child has a younger sibling and they see their mother constantly carrying the baby a certain way, cradling it and changing the diapers and feeding them, is it because the child is mimicking their mother, or is it because the child is being cultivated to be a mother by observing and wanting to repeat the actions of their mother? Make it seem like, oh, these toys were forcing little girls to do something that they had no concept of. They never seen their mother pick up their younger sibling, or they never seen their mother change the diapers. They never seen their mother feed their younger sibling or push them around in a stroller. All these toys that were marketed towards little girls was to groom them to be wives and mothers, as opposed to being anything else that they want to be. CEOs, leaders of industry, moguls. This is ridiculous. Okay, expectations should be primary caregivers and homemakers because they're watching their mothers. Of course they want to mimic them. It's easy, it's a slam dunk. Oh, we know little kids like to copy off their parents, so we're going to give them toys that they're going to be drawn to because they want to imitate their parent. Little girls want to imitate their mother more than they want to imitate their father. They do imitate their father, but overall, broadly, they're going to imitate their mother. Modern mothers recognize the importance of creative, open-ended toys for development. They still often buy toys that require less time and effort to play with. Yes, because the child has observed, so they know what to do. The mother doesn't have to sit around and say, well, this is what you do. And they've been watching their mother. So all they're going to do is mimic their mother. So there is no need to sit down, and mothers still value toys that allow them to interact and play with children, keep them occupied, blah, blah, blah. Marketed towards girls, and they make it seem like this is a negative. I guess it's a negative now, since a vast majority of children are not born to mothers who know how to cook. A vast majority of mothers who don't know how to keep a child clean and tidy. Results indicate that toys have historically been used to socialize girls into traditional gender roles of motherhood and domesticity. Modern mothers may have a more nuanced views on the purpose and values of toys, but wouldn't that mean that either A, they despise the fact that their children want to mimic them, or worse, the children don't know how to mimic them because they're not good mothers? If they're saying that the toys that these little girls are playing with are problematic, are they saying, I hate me and I want my child to not be what I am to them, so I want them to play with things that do not in any way, shape, or form make them want to walk in my footsteps? Or they don't understand. Well, why you want to play with a easy bake oven? I don't even know how to cook. How to use this thing? It's one of the two. But they put it under the guise of, oh well, we're tired of society trying to enforce these gender roles on us. But aren't the gender roles that they're imitating the parents? Okay, so then I put in, well, two girls play with toys, trucks, and play cowboys and Indians. I know it's outdated, cowboys and Indians. Showing that toys marketed to girls focus on physical appearance, nurturing domestic skills, while toys boys have aggression, competition, and spatial abilities. That's strongly gender type roles. Yeah. Reinforce gender roles. Oh wait, it said in summary, the research suggests that girls should be free to play with a diverse range of toys, including those not traditionally marketed towards them. For develop a wider range of skills, help break down restrictive gender norms. Moderate masculine toys, in particular, may offer benefits for girls' development that's beyond appearance and domestic skills. So you don't want makeup kits for little girls. Don't want easy bake ovens for little girls. Don't want kitchen sets for little girls, because mimicking and following their mother's footsteps is terrible. Okay. So I had to look a little bit further into this incessant belief that the toys were making little girls into something awful and terrible, like their mother. The gendering of girl toys. Okay, so these were toys from the 1950s. We got the block set, wagon blocks, either or boy or girl. They got the slate board, boy or girl, but you have the doll with cosmetics. And you see everything else is pretty much, you could say, highly focused on boys. The doodler, boy or girl. Okay, little girl learn the art of makeup, feel so grown up, blah, 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 blah. But is it as marketed towards little girls because little girls have watched their mother put on makeup, so they want to do that by a certain age, especially. But this is forcing them to fall into gender roles. Not that they're observing their mother, their caretaker, and want to copy them because they're brand new to the world. And they say, well, I'm a girl like her. I need to start copying off of her. Horrible. That's terrible. Women in the 50s expected to wear makeup, teach them how to make up before they became women. A beauty kit. Horrible. Why on God's green earth would you want a little girl to copy off of her mother, who she sees every day, gussy herself up, either to look her best for her husband or to look her best when she goes out with her husband? That's horrible. That's horrible. Girls should stay far away from that. And a baby doll. Big sister watches mama take care of little brother, little sister. Why wouldn't she want a doll to play with so she can pretend and imitate what her mother does? Incredible. A baby stroller. Oh my God. Why would a little girl want to place the baby doll in a stroller and push her around just like her mother when she goes to the park? Just like her mother when she's just walking down the street, getting some fresh air, letting a little bundle of joy get a little sunlight on them, get some vitamin D. Why would she want to mimic her mother by playing with a doll and pushing it around in a stroller? Or the covered stroller, the high end, substandard. That's jewelry craft. Oh my God. Why would a little girl want to have jewelry of her own to wear when she sees her mother wearing jewelry? When she sees her mother wearing jewelry, why would she want to copy off of her mother when she sees her wearing jewelry? Either around the house, going to the grocery store, heading out with her husband. Why? those evil marketers. Tapestry. Oh my God. The pastime of mothers used to be needlepoint. Just making little designs and hanging around the house to say, I want a squirrel on the wall. And I made this myself. Don't want the little girls to do that. No. Tapestry. The 1950s, so after our little girls flex this toy, housewives and mothers, useful skills in order to further propagate societal expectations and should be home raising family, child rearing, feminine hobbies. Oh my goodness, this is terrible. Because women, yeah. I mean, this is crazy. And I just, I mean, it comes off as very just nonchalant, like how easy it is to be a father or a husband, or how easy it is to be a wife or a mother. This is not something that it is not innate, it is not natural. It comes A, with practice, B, with good, consistent role models. Be it a wife, mother, husband, father. There is no, oh, we could just look at the toy aisle and deduce that, oh, well, these toys for girls are making them wives. That's insane, considering the fact there weren't toys always. There are parts in this world where there is no toy section. But somehow or another, the children managed to grow up to be husbands, wives, mothers, and fathers without the toys. So is it, oh, well, this new modern luxury that exists that makes someone a mother, father, husband, or wife? Or is it through mimicry, impersonation, and consistent observation?
So this is another comment that I had to respond to. So this lady said they want traditional women, but not given traditional men. And this comment reminded me of a conversation that my friend and I was having. She said that she took a communication class, and her instructor had her walk down the toy aisle for boys and then walk down the toy aisle for girls. And she said that what she noticed is that all of the toys for the little girls were geared toward nurturing. You know, little girls play with kitchens. They want to be brides for Halloween.
It's just everywhere. She said a communication class. You've got all of these websites. Even the AI is going full hog at little boys and acting as if, oh, well, you don't need a father. You just need toys. You don't need a role model. You just need anybody, of a grandfather or an uncle. Those are supposed to be in cases when the father dies, or at worst is incarcerated. But I would assume most fathers do not willingly try to do things to put themselves in a situation where they'll be incarcerated. So the only time that it is absolutely vital and necessary for step in for especially little boys is perishing in war. And we know that a uber majority of fathers are being substituted, and it's not because of war. And it's disingenuous to say, oh, well, We can find what we need in a toy aisle. We can find what we need in a stepdaddy. And remember, all of this is a rebuttal to what the Passport Bros, MGTOW, and all these other, I'm not gonna say organizations. This is in response to I don't need a man, I don't want a man. This is in response to I can do bad all by myself. This is in response to, oh, he need to make $600,000 a week in order for him to get any of this. This is ludicrous. In the immortal words of Mike Tyson, this is ridiculous that someone would reduce, these organizations would reduce AI, which is based on input, so it's all over the web, of stating that boys are created to be fathers and husbands without the need of a father in their life consistently. And I absolutely mean in marriage. Anyway, please consider liking, subscribing, and